Bezrat Hashem, that Borei Olam will answer our prayers.
Every morning in prayer. Wow.
So, we are in Parashat Vayechi. Vayechi Yaakov בארץ מצרים. ויחי יעקב בארץ מצרים 17 שנה. ויהי ימי יעקב שני חייו 7 שנים ו40 ומעט שנה. Okay. So Yaakov lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years. And all of his days, total count, is 147 years. Now, I had a question. Okay, you have your own questions, but I have also mine. In the last parsha, we're told that Yaakov arrived to Egypt in the age of 130. And now you're telling me he lived in Egypt for 17 years and he died at the age of 147. I know how to calculate that. And we believe that every letter and every word in the Torah has a meaning. And if we don't need the simple meaning of this word, we're using it to make a limud out of it. This is why people are rejecting Judaism, because the fact that Chazal, Chachamenu, Rabotenu Zichronam Livracha, they're taking, even if there is one letter that is not needed in a word, they're using it to make something out of it. So they say, well, you're inventing everything, it's all invented. But actually, there is a different way to look at it. Because when you have such love and such appreciation and belief in the holiness of the Torah, you know that the Creator is not doing anything that is just for, like we talked in last lesson, that is, it's like a story, to make it a beautiful story. Even though it's a beautiful story, it has deeper meanings. So each letter that is not really needed in the story came to teach us something more, okay? So, if I know that he arrived to Egypt at the age of 130, this is what I know from the last parsha. Now, you're telling me he lived there for 17 years and died in the ages of 147. Why do I need to know about these 17 years? This is what I wanted to answer about my question. Do you have any idea?
No.
Yeah, why it was written? Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if I ever read it somewhere, but those were like the 17 years that he lived in peace.
Yes.
Oh, because he
Beautiful.
loves Yosef.
Yes, now he was complete with Yosef and beautiful. Beautiful. And someone else? You have an idea maybe?
No.
The 17 years, it's also what the beautiful thing is that it's written Ele Toldot in Parashat Toldot, Ele Toldot Yaakov, Yosef ben 17 shana. Yosef is 17 years old. This is when all the mess began.
Yeah, right.
So now we had another 17 years in peace. That's what you're saying, and it's beautiful. And it's also coming very, very strongly in supporting what the direction that I wanted to go. What we're talking about when we're talking about faith and emunah in Hashem, you can believe that there is a God, okay? That there is a, how do you say, supreme power, a high power that it controls, creator, whatever. It's all nice philosophy. But Hashem is a whole different thing. Because Hashem is mercy. Hashem is good. Okay? And believe in Hashem is to know that everything is good. And to know that nothing can take you away and nothing can cut you from being glued and connected to the Creator. This is to believe in Hashem. If you believe that you're disconnected, you don't believe in Hashem. You believe in the Creator, you believe in Elokim, Elohim, like we say, which is the name of judgments. But to believe in Hashem is to know that nothing can separate you. Nothing at all. No sin, no whatever, nothing. And it even not connected to being a Jew or not Jew. Nothing. If you find real mercy, you know that you're connected to Hashem. So this 17, the numerable value of 17 in Hebrew comes, this is also what's beautiful in the Ele Toldot Yaakov, Yosef is in the age of 17. The numerable value of 17 in Hebrew is the word Tov, good. And it's exactly what you said. The 17 years that Yaakov lived at the end of his life in Egypt, which is the lowest and the dirtiest places of them all, were the best 17 years in his life. Why? How could it be? It's such an awful place. But only when you go down and you're broken and you have nothing to relate to, because it's dirty, it's a bad situation, it's not a good place to be at. If you still feel connected to Hashem, this is the only test that can show you yourself that you're really connected to Hashem. Before you go to Egypt, you can never know that if your faith is in Hashem or in Elohim or in judgments. So this best 17 years of Yaakov's life is especially in Egypt. After that, he knows that nothing can disconnect him. He knows that everything that he went through in his life was hard, was unbelievable. How can you say? With a brother that wants to murder you, with a father-in-law that's just the biggest liar in the history.
No, that
And-
he gives him the other wife. And this not have been faithful.
Everything was for the good.
Yeah.
Everything was for the good. With 22 years of believing that your son was murdered was that's hard. Okay. Now you wake up. Okay.
I think that's the hardest of all for me.
Of course.
But Rachel also died.
With a wife that we can continue and understand.
Yes.
With a daughter that has been raped
Yes.
and taken to a place, 2 sons of you go and murder a whole city, and crazy life. So if we're going with the direction that we started last week, we see in our parsha that Yosef is continuing to cry. He's just continuing to cry. And the amazing thing is to see that his real students, like I was hinting last week, are the Egyptians and not his brothers. Because it's written in the Pasuk that Egypt is crying for 40 days on Yaakov. Not the brothers. Egypt is crying for 40 days. Because they learned how to cry from Yosef. Because he is the rabbi. And the brothers cannot be cancelled. They can't just, how do you say, nullify themselves to Yosef. But the Egyptian did. So they learned his way. And they are the ones who cry 40 days about Yaakov. And it's amazing about education, like we say now that Yosef was educating Egypt. Someone asked about the week of mourning that they made in Goren HaAtad. So first, I think it's in Ever HaYarden. Ever HaYarden is one side of the Jordan. So for sure it's in the land of Canaan or Israel, if you say, not in Egypt.
Okay.
This is first.
Okay.
And also, one of the commentators, the Ibn Ezra, is saying that actually there's some way of limud in the Torah that they say there is no way, אין מוקדם ומאוחר בתורה. You cannot know if it happens before or after. So he says that because the law is to sit 7 days, Shiv'ah, after burying, not after death,
No, after that.
after the burial.
Now I understand it.
So he says that it's the 7 days that they sat on him after burying him. But other commentators don't agree with him. And I saw Kli Akar is saying something else about it. But others say that they just, I wanted to say that maybe they wanted to sit 7 days out of Egypt. Like in a holier place. This is what I was thinking to answer this question. But it's a good question. And all the story with this Goren HaAtad, Goren, you know what Goren is? Goren is the place where you put where you put the wheat after it's harvested. It's the
Oh, it's like this building?
yeah the place where yes.
Oh.
And Atad is the name of one of the thorns. Atad, thorn.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So Chazal and all of the commentators that say that it was a Goren, a place of where the food is, the blessing is, which is surrounded with the thorns, Goren Atad. And they say a Kli Yakar. One of the commentaries is called Kli Yakar. Kli Yakar is an expensive instrument. This is his name. I don't know, the commentary. Expensive or precious instrument. He was understanding the Torah. So he explains that the Egyptians, because Yosef, we need to understand, it's like now when one of the biggest leaders in the world is dying, so all the leaders from international funeral. So all the leaders, the most Egypt was like the biggest empire back then. So all the most impressive and important people in Egypt was coming with Yosef and the brothers and all the military, and it was very, very big and heavy funeral, like massive funeral, going out of Egypt in the direction of Canaan, of Hebron, of Ma'arat HaMachpelah. They see such a impressive and amazing place, and Rabbeinu are saying that the Esav, Yaakov brother, was Esav came with his crew, evil crew, and also Ishmael were coming, and they wanted to fight. And when they saw that all the army of Egypt and all of the most important leaders and people in the world are involved, they all put their crowns on on Yaakov, and they all understood that it's not the time for war, not the time for war. And then, so I think that all of this story is coming to, probably there are a lot of secrets in it, but it's coming to show how important and honorable was Yaakov's funeral. Pharaoh wanted to respect Joseph.
נכון.
Yes, and also Yaakov, he met him.
Yeah, in the 17
And
years
Yaakov,
he met.
and what? And I want to continue from this point, but what?
They embalmed him, like.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
like
put all the materials and made his body stay. The idea of education, go back to that. Yes. Yaakov, Yosef educated Egypt, and like they learned how to cry from him, they learned one more thing that is very, very one of the most important roots of behavior and faith, and is to be gratitude. One of the really basic, most important roots of behavior and faith is being gratitude. And a Kli Yakar, that we talked before, is saying that when all these Egyptians came with Yaakov bed, it's called mita like bed, but also mita with tet is like bed, and with taf is death. So, but a lot of, I know that in English we say bed, like when you're carrying the dead in his bed, or you don't say it that way. No, it's not bed.
See, his deathbed.
Deathbed. Deathbed.
Yeah,
you say this.
So it's like a letter games in Hebrew, because mita and mita with tet is sleeping bed,
Yes.
and mita with taf is the dead body, the body. Okay. So they were carrying the mita, and they arrived to this place which was full of wheat, but surrounded with how did you say? Thorns. This is my word for next time. Thorns. Surrounded with thorns, and then they understood that all the wealth and the good that came to them was in the merit of the tzaddik, of Yaakov, all of those years. The first 7 years, Yosef took care of. Well, and then when they go back to Egypt, they see that the situation is not so confident as it was before. This is what the Kli Yakar is showing. And what I wanted to take out of his words is the idea of gratitude. Because if you're not educated to be gratitude, you will not notice signs. You see this place hidden behind thorns, you say, hey, why? But I want to eat. But instead of that, you say, oh, thank you. Why? Where is all the wealth hidden? It's hidden because there's a reason. Instead of jumping to bad conclusions, you take good ideas and conclusions from reality. When you see bad things, you see now the wealth is away from you. It's kept behind thorns. It's not available for you. If you look for a good understanding, you will find one. But you need to educate yourself first to be able to recognize situations in a way that you can start thinking and understanding things out of it, and not just jumping to conclusions like this is that reality. No, it's not the reality. It's your conclusions. This is faith. The way you see reality is your own conclusions. It's your own way of looking. It's not 100% sure that this is reality.
So you can choose your conclusions also. We have to develop the ability
when you educate yourself, or being educated, you change.
Yeah, for sure.
The change that you're going through is coming out of the way you see reality. You can, let's say it in a different way. If you see that the way you see reality becomes more positive, it's probably because you changed. You have changed. And so this is another point. Goren Atad. Okay, these were the questions about that. Again, what was the last thing that you said before when I came back to education?
About the mommy.
Yes. Okay. Now, Chazal say about that. Chazal say that as long as the body exists after death, the body continues to suffer. As long as it exists, it continues to suffer from the judgments that are on it, from sins, from bad deeds, and whatever. This is what they say, okay? I don't like this way of talking, but I must respect.
But I also don't like the talking.
So, but the amazing chidush about it is that the most painful suffer for the body after death is from jealousy.
Why?
The person that was suffering from jealousy. Probably jealousy is one of the strongest powers that the body can throw on the soul. Maybe not throw, can force the what? Comes from the body. Because the soul, what? Who do you have to be jealous at? You're a soul.
Right.
You're a soul. He's a soul. What? This is what's written. And the amazing chidush that I found in it is that the two that were in bond were Yaakov and Yosef.
Okay.
Only them. it's not halacha for us. This is just how it was then. It's before it was forbidden or whatever. And also, Yaakov was asking to go to a far place. You can answer that. He was asking to go to a far place. So you don't want his body to...
But also they say that the bodies of the forefathers are still
Tzadikim.
Tzadikim, they stay anyway. They don't need to be involved for that. But, so, Yaakov and Yosef main attribute is that they're not into jealousy at all. Even Yaakov, which did everything to Esav and whatever, it's not out of jealousy, just to achieve my achievements in life. And Yosef, it's for sure, you see, that is not fighting, is not into like hating, he's not in a competition with no one. This is also a special idea to understand about the way of Yaakov and also the way of Hashem. Because today we live in the like post-modernist world, that the main idea of it is equalness. Everybody should be equal, men and women, no religion, no race, no all this bullshit. And I'm calling it bullshit because this idea of equalness is what brings the most darkest and evil powers out of people. Because when equalness is not around, it's a good reason to fight, it's a good reason to terrorize, it's a good reason to divorce, it's a good reason to whatever. And the truth of Torah is not about equalness. It's about being who you are and what you should be, and about you cannot force no one to nothing, especially not spiritually. You can force your child to be religious, but he won't be a believer. He will be just religious, which is a very low way to be connected to Hashem. You can force people to behave, but you cannot be sure that one day they will not just get nuts and start shooting people in the street. Like you see in the most behavior places in the world ever. You cannot force no one to nothing. So equalness is something that is forcing people, good and whatever successful people, not to believe in their good, in their successfulness, because it's not fair. How could you be successful and this Abdallah is not? This whatever, choose. It's just an Arabic name. So you're not allowed to be successful and good. That's sick. The way of Torah is to be successful and to be good, and to know how to live all your success and all your good, and go to help your brother. This is truth. Not everybody's equal. It's not about equalness. In marriage, for example, you have a man and you have a woman. If I would talk to men, they won't say like in the beginning of this show. Nah, Yaakov gone through these hard times. Then when something happened to a child, oh, this is the most. This is because you're women. That's your heart.
Wait, what is it?
If something happened to his child, this is the most.
Yeah.
No, but
It's
he
your-
also felt this pain. Jacob, he's a man,
Of course.
and this was like the
No,
word.
but it was not that. It was the reaction of women.
Yeah.
You heard.
This is. Yeah, I'm talking about your reaction, not about.
Share to a group of men, they might not have the same reaction.
Ken.
Okay.
No, this is the worst. Listening, okay, it's really awful. Yes. All this package is hard. Men and women are different. It's not about equalness at all. It's about you should be a man and you should be a woman. That's it.
No, that I agree, but I do think
And-
that there should be an equal in rights.
What?
Like having the right, like because that's having the right to like be yourself, even if you're a woman, and to
Of
like
course.
have the same rights as men. Doesn't mean that you have to go do the jobs of men,
Of course.
but it does mean like I have the right to like be free and be myself, to vote if I want to vote, to wear pants if I want to wear pants. I don't know, like
Of course.
yeah, there is a
Of
part
course.
where you have to have respect.
But that's
Okay.
about rights, not equal. You're talking about equal.
Yeah, but
Yeah, equal
that's
rights.
connected. That's connected.
I hear you. But again, the idea of forcing people to it's also bringing hard things on women, that they now feel that they're supposed to be something else than their nature. That's also,
Yeah.
it's a problem. But I hear what you're talking about, and I know that if you want to wear pants, if
like-
again, no, I'm saying especially on the things that is against halacha. I'm very, very, very into it because I started לחזור בתשובה almost 3 years before my wife, okay? She wasn't into it at all. And I didn't have any way to force her to nothing for the long run. I could have maybe succeed to force her to wear a dress, to do that, to be modest, to light candles, to keep Shabbat. But again, she wouldn't. It didn't came from out of her
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
Be religious.
So I be religious and not to have faith. In Hebrew you say העיקר חסר מן הספר. העיקר, the most important thing is missing in the book. Because it needs to come out of your own heart. So if you want to wear whatever, to not to wear at all,
It's about not stepping on other people.
yes.
Like,
But you understand
I
that
understand the point.
you understand that the point is that now because it's allowed and because it's our right,
Yeah.
you're just giving your body to men. This is what you're doing,
No, this is
not you.
see.
The newspaper, it's allowed and it's right to have women with bikini.
Yeah.
Because we respect women, you know? It's because we respect them. If you say it's not allowed, you're not respecting women. We're respecting women especially when they're in bikini, you know? That's the idea.
But it's the same thing as like how,
This is what we need to show that lie.
yeah. Because if a woman's breastfeeding, then that becomes a big issue. But when
Yeah.
there's a woman wearing a bikini, that's not like
Yeah. Like,
That's sick.
Crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. So what we're touching now in a very deep point, because we see that Yaakov was showing with no doubt to their sons that he has one son that he prefers. And that's very, very, very strange. And even Gemara says that it's not allowed. It's not saying that it's not allowed, it's saying don't do it. And it's a good understanding, because if you don't want problem and mess, don't do it. Yaakov, if he saw that there's problems between Yosef and his brothers, and it's connected to his
favoritism.
Yes. And so after like he's gone and the brother comes and he feels that something is wrong, he should have understood that it was a mistake. Okay? This is one step. But now, when all the brothers come to Egypt and they go to Yosef and this and this, what is Yaakov doing? Again, the same mistake. No, Binyamin is my precious one. I know.
Yeah.
I prefer him. You can go. He's staying with me. What? You didn't learn from the first time?
Yeah.
I thought he would fix that tikkun, like, to tikkun that by now.
So Yosef make it as a tikkun for Yehuda. He's breaking into pieces until he will stand and know I'm taking care of my brother. I will guard him. Not like I did with the first one. But
We're getting there, right?
but Yaakov is even continuing to do that when he's meeting Yosef's sons.
Yeah.
This is one of the points that you sent to me.
Yeah.
First of all, he's not recognizing them. What? Because, and Rashi is saying in the place, he's saying that he saw that evil people will come out of them. How do you, I don't know, not
Wicked
evil
people,
or wicked.
yeah.
But then he saw that, why did he give up this?
But Yosef is like saying, no, they are my sons, and then find good points in them. And then this is how Rabbi Natan explains it. Find good points in them, and then he's looking and finding good points, and then he's blessing. So Yaakov is all the way continuing to be favoritizing. Am I inventing a word here?
No.
One upon the other.
Ken.
And he's saying, no, Ephraim, even though that he's younger, he is the one that I want to put my right hand on him. And what are you doing?
He's doing the same.
So in conclusion,
You want to make fights even with in your grandchildren?
Yeah.
It's not enough with what you did with your sons? What's going on? And the hardest question is about Borei Olam, because he's also doing it every day since since the days on Mount Sinai. He's doing it since coming out of Egypt. He's doing that internally. Because he's saying, the nation of Israel is my favorite son.
but we're not the
What?
youngest son.
It's not about youngest. It's about someone is favorite.
I get you.
Wow, how could you do that?
But like in conclusion, nobody through the
It's a lot of people's problems. A lot.
nobody through the sons of the forefathers, actually the Bechor gets the blessing.
Of course. Nachon.
None of them.
So
Nachon.
Hashem is doing the same.
The same
with
thing.
The humanity that
Yes.
Jacob with us.
What the hell are you trying to do?
But he also
You can understand why they hate Jews. If you understand it that way.
Yeah.
If you understand.
Because Gemara, if you understand it that way. Because Gemara is also telling you, if you don't want to mess it up, keep them all equal. What can you say about that?
That's not
that's
so
really
deep.
deep.
What can you
Really
say?
deep.
It is.
Can I ask something?
It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And it brought millions on millions of sacrifices as well, because the concept of equalness. We're talking about something else. Look for the answer. The answer that I was thinking about, and it is an answer to like eternal peace, international and eternal peace, is that. Wait a second, let's go even deeper. Inside Judaism, okay, Jewish people are my favorite side, but inside Judaism, Hashem is saying, I have the tzaddik. You cannot just say, listen to me. בא חבקוק ומידן על אחד. The prophet Habakkuk came and he stood all Torah and mitzvot on one. The tzaddik, the righteous, באמונתו יחיה. Will live in his faith. And today, with this crooked idea of equalness, they crooked the pasuk, and they say ve'ish be'emunato yachya. Each person will live in his faith, his own faith. But the pasuk is saying v'tzadik be'emunato yachya. And people think that the verse is the pasuk ve'ish be'emunato yachya, and it's not. Tzadik be'emunato yachya. So we go back to Abraham and talk about faith. And what faith is all about. What did we say even about Yosef and the brothers? About jealousy. It's kind of a conclusion to all of this shiur, probably. If you know that you're a soul, you're not jealous. And you see, what can you do? Who can I join? If I'm higher and successful and better than someone, I should know how to leave behind my successfulness, my good, and the fact that I'm better, and go down to my brother and bring him up with the tools that I have of being good, being successful. And if I am lower than someone, and I see a righteous man, if I see someone that has deep wisdom of good, of success, I should learn how to nullify myself and put my ideas aside because I see someone that got something that I don't have. And if I am fighting to keep my own understanding that brought me to where I am at, and I see where he is, I will in happiness just join him and let him take me higher. And if the Creator, if Yaakov will keep only equalness all the time, no one will know who to go to and to get better and to bring Geula Laolam.
Yes.
Bring the light, show the light of souls. And this is the most deep problem with the brothers and Yosef, because Egypt are willing to nullify themselves to Yosef, and it's not such an achievement for them, because you see that deep in their nature and soul, they very fast start slaving the nation of Israel. Come a new ruler saying, what is he saying? We'll see it next Parsha. I don't know Joseph.
Ah, yeah, that's a new one.
What don't know? He was the former prime minister. We're talking about, I don't know, let's say 40 years ago. What, you don't know him?
He doesn't want to.
You don't want to know him. And this is the specialness of the Israeli souls. And this is the war that we need to fight on to explore our souls, and this is the war that someone that want to convert need to fight on to get this kind of a soul, to really join the inner thing of connection to the good, and not to my own pride, not to my own concepts, not to my own. Who is succeeding? Who's making the desert green? Who is building the most amazing currency in the world in 70 years? Only 70 years. Who will terrorize them?
The brother.
No, I'm talking now on the.
Former states, maybe.
I'm talking about the state of Israel.
Yeah.
No, I know.
But- but
I know.
The Jews, when they're in the land of Israel.
And
Yes.
you asked who's gonna terrorize them.
Yes,
Who's gonna be the most
the
jealous?
brother.
Their brother.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Our brother.
Exactly. Not the one.
Ishmael.
Not the Incas from Mexico.
No.
He's his brother. Peru, whatever. Sorry.
We have others.
I'm not claiming to be an expert in South America. Social.
Afraid of Mexicans, maybe.
So,
I think so.
but we now touch the inner point of jealousy and what comes out of it, competition. Because I'm going to say it in 1 minute that I have left. The reason of fighting and rejecting the tzaddik comes out of jealousy, and comes out, and this is why it's, even though Yaakov and the Creator choose to show the not fair picture, because it's worth it if someone will nullify, or if someone will be able to get help from that righteous man. And when someone is living with jealousy, he lives in a competition. And the reason people fight and reject tzaddikim is because of the fact that the righteous man, the real righteous man, is willing to leave all his righteousness and all his whatever you imagine that he has, and to go rescue the lowest one, the lowest one of them all. And if you're just a regular person, you know that you're not the lowest of them all. And you see that someone is going to help someone that is under you, is also the first thing you say, if it's not me, it's not that. Or if why is it him? Why is it not him? Why is it not my friend? Why is it not my rabbi? Why is it not that? Why? I want to decide. This is the first. But the deeper one, the deeper reason is that because you live in a competition, you're jealous in that one because you know he's higher than you. And you see the people that are under you, it's easy for you. It feels good to know that you're not the worst one. You prefer to know that you're better than someone. Let's say it in a positive way. And when you see the righteous man going down, you live in the 17th floor, but he's going down and down and going to the basement under all of the parking, going down there and starting to uplift people and to take them with him in his how do you say, elevator, going up and up and up. Now it's,
You don't like it.
you don't like it.
Like it.
You like it when they're down. This is why you're fighting. You're rejecting the tzaddik. This is why you're fighting him. And this is for the last. Okay, I'm too late.
No, please.
Finish. In the ending of the parsha, Yosef is crying when Yaakov is dying, and then the brothers come to him, and they're lying to him. They're saying, our fathers told us before he died that you shouldn't do to us anything about the past, what happened, and they're lying. And what is Yosef doing?
Crying.
Crying again. For God's sake, what do you want? I'm willing. And the deepest thing about it is that what Rabbeinu Bechaye, the one that I brought last week, Rabbeinu Bechaye, is saying an amazing thing. He's saying, and it's a point that I was touching in last shiur, but I didn't notice it. I told you that who's pleasing who? Yosef is pleasing the brothers. But who hurt who? The brothers hurt Yosef. Why is he need to please you?
Because he's a tzaddik.
Because he's a tzaddik. But to achieve what you need to achieve, if you hurt someone and you feel guilty and you can't look in his eyes and you want to forget about it, what you really need to do is just to apologize and to try to please him. This is what Halakha is recommending you, to try to please him 3 times. And if he's not forgiving, he's probably from the seed of Esav or something. He's too cruel. But if...
It's true, yeah.
But you need to please him.
Yeah.
And even if you did tshuva in front of Hashem and say, I'm sorry for selling my brother, I'm sorry for that, I'm sorry for that. They did tshuva. We believe 100% that they did tshuva. They were righteous. But to get the forgiveness is not enough when you do tshuva in front of Hashem. You need to please the one that you hurt. And what I understood from that is that Yosef is crying every time to clean himself and to be able to forgive. From his side is forgiving, but it's not written anywhere. This is what Rabbeinu Bechaye said. Rabbeinu Bechaye says that it's not written anywhere that he forgave them. He's acting like a righteous man because he's righteous. But it's not written that he forgave them. Why? Because they didn't ask him to forgive them. They didn't try to please him. Why? Why are you lying to me? Just ask for my forgiveness. He's crying, he's cleaning all the past to be able to forgive. But they're not asking he's ready to forgive. But they're not asking that. Why are you lying to me again? Why are you lying again? Why? Why are they lying to him again? We leave that to next class.
Yeah.
Bezrat Hashem.